My name's Frank Davis. I met my wife, Lyla, 2 years after a painful divorce, shortly after finishing my 4-year Marine Corps tour. My ex-wife possessed an enchanting allure, a smile that could melt hearts, and piercing gray eyes that seemed to see straight through me. I completely trusted and loved her, and I still grapple with self-reproach for falling for such a manipulative, self-centered woman. Upon returning from Afghanistan, I concealed a truth that shattered my heart. While overseas, she'd been involved with multiple partners, squandering my hard-earned money on lavish parties, outlandish clothing, and supporting her worthless paramours. That experience profoundly altered me, for better and worse. Positively, I emerged less naive, no longer an easy target for deceit. However, the emotional wounds, though healed, left a deep, ugly scar on my soul, fostering suspicion and paranoia. Even with Lyla, whom I deeply love, I've struggled to fully lower my guard. I long to trust her, but I notice the minor falsehoods she utters when absolute honesty seems inconvenient. We both had prior marriages, and I hope we grow old together this time. But my past makes it difficult to quell the fear, the persistent doubt. I've been foolishly trusting before, and it nearly destroyed me. Perhaps someday I'll sleep soundly, but for now, those scars keep one eye open. The more I loved Lyla, the more paranoid I became. The deeper the love, the more agonizing the potential hurt. She pressured me to start a family, and I worried that a relationship's demise would mean at least 18 years of child support. Still, I was ready to build a family and bury the past. It troubled me how those ghosts of yesterday negatively impacted our marriage. It was time to let go and move on. I wanted to believe Lyla deserved my trust. I noticed her flirtatiousness, though never anything egregious, but it unsettled me. I chose to observe. I concealed my insecurities, showering her with attention and affection. My military experiences had hardened me. My love for her was strong enough to shield her from my ruthless side. I showered her with affection, taking her to plays, movies, dancing, and always eager for passionate lovemaking. However, I secretly established a Cayman Islands investment account early in our 4-year marriage. Every bonus was channeled through a foreign subsidiary directly into that account, avoiding U.S. taxes. I was proficient at my job, and the account steadily grew. I hoped for the best, but prepared for the worst. If things flourished, we'd use the funds for a vacation home, and perhaps a world cruise. Otherwise, she couldn't steal what she couldn't see, and I'd have enough to rebuild my life without the prior financial hardship. I don't think Lyla ever fully grasped how emotionally damaged I was. Early in our relationship, we had this conversation. "Lyla, I've had a brutal day," I said, slumping into my favorite chair. "What happened, sweetheart?" "I had a depressing lunch conversation with a friend." I fell silent, staring out the window. "Don't leave me hanging. What was it about?" "He just learned his wife was cheating and asked what I'd do. Part of him wants forgiveness, reconciliation. Part wants an immediate divorce." "What did you tell him?" "Once she's been intimate with another man, the marriage is over. She breached the contract, destroyed the trust and respect." I explained that some men might stay, but I couldn't. I looked into her eyes, wanting her to understand my feelings about betrayal. Why did she do it? Maybe there's still hope. Does she love him? Does he love her? Lyla's eyes narrowed, a subtle shift in her expression unsettling me. Maybe she had a reason. Everyone makes mistakes. If he loves her enough, he could forgive her. Who cares why? I'm sure he loves her. That's why he's hurting. She continued. She says she loves him, but her actions don't show it. The man's devastated. You should have seen him. A wreck. I felt anger toward his wife and sympathy for him. He's where he is. His life's irrevocably changed. Even if he forgave, he'd never forget. I urged him to initiate a strategic withdrawal, a military term. Loyalty matters profoundly to me. I stopped there, avoiding any hint of my potential retribution. "Wow, don't remind me to never cheat on you. I see this upsets you. I'm glad you shared that. Never forget my heart belongs only to you, Frank." There could never be another, she said, sitting on my lap, offering a seductive smile and kiss. That conversation took place 4 years ago. I wish I could say I was completely satisfied with her response. I was glad I expressed my feelings about unfaithful women. My first wife's betrayal had blindsided me. One day I was happily married. The next, my accounts were emptied, I was barred from my house, and I was in a bar trying to comprehend what transpired. After that, I adopted a trust but verify approach. At a neighbor's birthday party last weekend, I saw my wife exchanging prolonged, loving gazes with a man across the room, perhaps 25. I'm 31, Lyla 28. I recognized that look. I hadn't seen it directed at me in a while. It's remarkable how much one can discern from casual observation. My heart sank, realizing they were or had been lovers. Friends and family had also noticed her attention toward this stranger. I felt anger and humiliation. My happy marriage was undoubtedly in jeopardy. My world crumbled. The love I believed exclusive wasn't. When we returned home, I was unusually quiet, dreading the impending conversation. If she was having an affair, the marriage was over. Even if not, I wasn't sure I could live with a woman harboring such feelings for another man, even if she loved me. Honey, what's troubling you? You haven't spoken since the party. Did I offend you? Come on, Frank. I know you. I've never seen you this upset. Was it that guy you talked to half the night? She paused. Is that what's bothering you? He's just a guy I used to work with. We were catching up. Much of the conversation was about you, and how happy I am to be with you. I only have eyes for you, you big jerk. I think he was jealous of you. She seemed content with her explanation, expecting a hug, a kiss, an apology. It didn't happen. You're lying. Why would I say that? She looked worried. I've known you a long time. I saw the love in your eyes. You can't disguise that look. You're a good liar, but not that good. It pained me to see her look at another man like that. I'm giving you one more chance to tell the truth before things explode. She appeared defeated. There was no escape. Frank, we were lovers long ago. He dumped me when he fell for a younger woman. I hadn't thought of him until tonight. I'm sorry I lied. You know how I am. My love for you is stronger than any lingering feelings. You have to believe that, Frank. You have to. Your love for me may be stronger, but you've loved him much longer. I'm not a man who shares his woman, physically or emotionally. He looked at you like a lion stalking its prey. He sensed your vulnerability. Your body language signaled an opportunity. I love you, Lyla, but I'm not sure this marriage will last. Please, Frank, I haven't done anything wrong. You're my world. We're meant to be. Forget tonight. I'll never see or speak to him again, I promise. Tears streamed down her face. She looked pitiful. I wanted to comfort her, but my instincts wouldn't allow it. We'll see, Lyla. We'll see. For the next couple of months, we pretended the incident never happened. Our intimacy was strained. Something in me had shifted. I tried to move past it, but the trust was broken. Lyla tried too hard to convince me she only wanted me. Too hard. She often seemed distracted, guarded, as if she didn't want me to know her thoughts. I detected a hint of disrespect in her tone. I knew I was losing her, but I didn't understand why. My gut told me her behavior stemmed from that man at the party. Her smiles felt forced. She struggled with eye contact. I braced myself for what I sensed was coming. I waited before confronting her. Okay, Lyla, what's going on? You haven't been yourself. Something's happening, and I need to know. For 2 months, you've been going through the motions. You've seemed distracted since that party. Our marriage is crumbling. We've had sex, but it hasn't felt like making love. Everything's fine, honey. I've just been under the weather. Hormones, I guess. She tried to sound reassuring. I didn't believe her. I decided to visit her workplace. I was friendly with a couple of her colleagues. I arrived to learn she'd already left for lunch, around 11. She had supervisory privileges. She left about an hour ago, said Tom, a colleague. Does she leave early often? I asked, trying to sound unconcerned. 2 or 3 times a week, I think. Does she go alone? My tone was tense. He glanced around and whispered, "Once I saw a young blonde pick her up. Curiosity got the better of me. She returns around 1. If you want to wait." He looked at me sympathetically. "I'm sorry, buddy." "No problem. Do me a favor. Don't tell her I was here." "Thanks." My worst nightmare had come true. I had a good idea who she was spending her lunch breaks with and what they were doing. I was about to unleash my fury. I waited for the right moment. 2 days later, she came home 2 hours late, intoxicated, eager for sex the moment she arrived. The whole situation felt strange. Her aggression was unprecedented. That night, I slept poorly. The next day at work, I couldn't concentrate. Lyla's behavior set off all my alarm bells. Then, I realized what was happening. Disgust and anger consumed me. The time for reckoning had come. That night, at the dinner table, I said, "Whose idea was it for you to give me sloppy seconds last night? It turned you on, didn't it?" She looked at me with a guilty, sad expression. "Sloppy seconds? What are you talking about, Frank? You know damn well. After last night's sex, something felt wrong. You never acted that way. Yesterday, it hit me. You just left another man's bed, then came to me. Your treachery excited you, didn't it? How long has this been going on? Don't lie. I know more than you think." She couldn't meet my gaze, wanting to avoid detailing her infidelity. "Not long, Frank. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you." "Why? Why would you cheat? I've loved you since we met. I saw our future in your eyes. I'd take a bullet for you. You've broken my heart, destroyed my respect for you. I hope it was worth it. The seconds were his idea, weren't they?" Her silence answered. "I stopped by your work the other day. You weren't there. I know you've been sneaking out with that blonde from the party. It's been going on a while. Is he a better man than me? Answer me." "He started taking me to lunch. He sensed my attraction, kept telling me how beautiful and sexy I am. I craved his attention. He convinced me I could keep my marriage and him. We went to a motel. I was hooked. It was exciting, different. He felt like everything you're not, like a drug. I tried to stop. I really did. That hurts. That really hurts. That hurts. That really hurts. I'm seeing a lawyer tomorrow. You can have him, the house, half of everything. It'll take me a while to forgive myself for loving and trusting an unfaithful woman like you. You have a good job, so no alimony. You keep your opinion, I'll keep mine. Let's be thankful there are no children involved. I know you'll regret destroying this marriage. He knows you're a cheater. I guarantee he sees you as a conquest. He doesn't respect you. You left this marriage the moment you were intimate with him. You can't come back. We're finished. Frank, could you forgive me? Let me make it up to you, please. I love you. I didn't mean what I said. I think I lost my mind. I realize that now. Giving me seconds was the ultimate insult. You're only sorry you got caught. You don't love me. You love my paycheck, my boring dependability, not me. If you hadn't been so stupid, you'd still be getting away with it. If I took you back, I'd lose all respect for myself. I do love you, Frank. You have to believe that. I can't live without you. You're my rock. You've always taken care of me. Not anymore. Without trust, we have nothing. You're on your own. Maybe you do love me in your way, or maybe you're kidding yourself. It doesn't matter now. I don't believe a word. We're done. I hope you and Loverboy are happy. I reminded her of my feelings about betrayal. Hopefully, someday I'll meet a woman who appreciates a man like me. I fought back tears, my pride preventing them from falling in front of her. I moved out the next day, filed for divorce. Lyla tried repeatedly to change my mind. I wouldn't listen. The divorce finalized in 3 months. Lyla moved her unemployed boyfriend into my house. Several times, overwhelmed by depression, I was tempted to use my 9mm. Common sense prevailed. I choked back the anger and pain and moved on. When the final divorce papers arrived, I broke down, crying, expressing the grief I'd avoided. I sat in my apartment watching football when the tears started falling. My anger was replaced by deep sadness at the loss of my companion, for whom I'd gladly give my life. For months, I shunned socializing, devoting myself to work, wallowing in self-pity. The thought of my ex and her lover in my bed gnawed at me. Eventually, I forced myself to go out, to combat the haunting loneliness. One night, in a club, I saw Lyla's lover flirting with every attractive woman. He saw me watching, recognized me. The jerk smirked and grabbed the blonde he was dancing with. My face contorted. I started to stand when my friend, the bartender, put a hand on my shoulder. "Think about it, son. He's not worth jail, and your ex has no honor worth defending. He didn't betray you, she did. Let it go, son. Let it go." After that, I booked a singles cruise. I had the funds and time off. Why not? My best friend said there'd be plenty of women. It was time to get over myself and put myself out there. I needed female companionship to soothe my battered ego. The cruise was a good idea. I slept with a different woman every night for a week. I felt better, but the emptiness remained. I only remembered a few names. I felt like a sex toy. When I was about to give up, I met Nancy Jean. I was heading to breakfast when I saw her sitting alone. Our eyes met. She smiled as if we were old friends. I quickly filled my plate and rushed to her table before someone else claimed her. It sounds crazy, but that's how I felt. I don't know if it was love at first sight, but it was definitely lust. Gazing into her hazel eyes, I forgot every woman from that week. She radiated magnetic energy, drawing me in. I wanted, needed to know everything about her, and for her to know me. "Hi, I'm Frank. Hope you don't mind me joining you. I think your smile lights up this room." "I'm Nancy Jean," she said, extending her hand. "Have we met before?" she asked, smiling. "Strange. There's something familiar about you. I'm sure we haven't. I definitely remember a lady as pretty as you. Are you having fun on the cruise, Frank?" "I am now. How about you, frankly?" "Frankly, I've been hit on by every horny creep on this boat. I hope you're not one of them." "I'm quite sexual, but definitely not a creep. I can't blame these guys for wanting to sleep with you. I'm strongly attracted, but more than that, I want to know what you think and feel. It would be great if we could be lovers and friends. You put every woman on this boat in the shade. Wow. If that's a line, it's a good one. Are you for real?" "Definitely. I've been searching for you all week. You're special. I felt it the moment I saw you. If you don't mind, what happened with your marriage?" "I take loyalty and honesty seriously. My ex didn't feel the same. I don't think I ever truly trusted her, even though I loved her. She cheated with an old boyfriend, tried to keep both of us. She should have known that wouldn't work with me." "How about you? What brought you on this cruise?" "I'm divorced too. Married 5 years to a man much like your ex-wife. The only good thing is my daughter, Sheila. She's adorable. My mother's caring for her while I'm gone. I'm looking to relocate, hoping this getaway will clear my head while I plan for our future. Maybe I can help." "What kind of work do you do?" "I'm a CPA. I like my company, but I need a fresh start." I gave her my business card. "I have some influence at my company. Would you consider an interview in Florida? I think we could find a place for a talented, intelligent lady like you." We spent the rest of the cruise together, every moment possible. I missed her when she wasn't with me. My body ached, but I wanted her to know I was willing to get to know her, and for her to know me. When we made love, it would be worth the wait. I felt at peace with her. Talking to her brought out the best in me. Nancy Jean and her daughter came to Florida. She was surprised to find out I'd be interviewing her. My first words were, "I've missed you. What took you so long?" "I've missed you too, Frank. More than you can imagine," she answered, flashing that smile I loved. We started dating. 3 months later, we were engaged. I loved her and her daughter, who was the spitting image of her mother, except for green eyes instead of raven hair. After a few weeks, she started calling me Dad. I finally had the family I'd always dreamed of. One night, after passionate lovemaking, we were cuddling when my phone rang. It was Lyla. "Frank, I'm sorry to bother you, but I need your advice." "What's wrong? Loverboy's not home again?" "Oh, Frank, I made a huge mistake cheating on you. I'm so sorry. He's cleaned out my bank account. He's never here. He convinced me to take a second mortgage on the house for some investment. and the money's gone. I'm afraid I'll lose the house. Lately, he's been abusive. I'm afraid he'll hurt me. What am I going to do? You were always good at solving problems. She started crying. I felt no sympathy. Her tears once would have pained me. Not anymore. I can't believe you're calling me for advice, I said, my voice cold. You sacrificed our marriage for that unemployed piece of trash, shattered my heart. Did you honestly think he could replace me? That he'd stick with you? I can't help you. You made your bed, now lie in it. I told you before. You're on your own this time. You were right about one thing, though. He is everything I'm not. Goodbye, Lyla. I hung up without waiting for a response, turning back to Nancy Jean. She smiled softly, her eyes full of understanding, and we pulled each other close. The phone call wasn't mentioned again. It didn't matter. She was mine, and I was hers. That's all that counted. We slept soundly that night, wrapped in each other's arms, leaving the ghosts of the past where they belonged. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.